everybody. Welcome to Lorcanarama. We are here. Yay. We are missing Sabrina. So,
No.
all right. So I have to do this every episode. If anybody's out there listening and you can't hear us, please say something.
Let us know.
Yeah, because I am known to be technically challenged. So,
Let's see.
yeah. So tonight, Sabrina,
Sounds
of course,
good on
not
my
with
end.
us. What's that?
Sounds good on my end. I just heard it.
Okay. Yeah, as long as we can hear each other, nobody else matters,
Yeah.
right? Because it's just us talking, right? So,
True.
so if you're with us in the chat tonight, feel free to participate in the discussion. If it's your first time here, please follow us. We again usually have Sabrina here to keep us straightened out. The gloves are off, right? She's always been holding us back. So I won't say that. By the way, I got to show you this, right? Look at that shirt. Ooh,
oh my gosh, let's go.
That's right. Wearing that Lorcanarama podcast shirt. That's right. There's only 2 in existence. 2. So
you and Sabrina.
Yeah, we had to get one for Jake. So my kids made that for me for Christmas and made one for Sabrina as well. And I thought it was pretty cool. So tonight, folks, we're going to kind of just have a little talk, right? Just it's funny thing about card games is that, they go up and down with, people and their participation with them and how people feel about it, the state of game at any given point in time. Most card games are going to have this. The long-lasting card games are able to weather that. And no matter how far down it goes or how far up it goes, there's always just a steady base that keeps the game going. And that base consists of a lot of things. It consists of the player base. It consists of the quality of the game, the collectability of the cards, the availability of the cards, tournament scene. There's all kinds of things that go in there that make it stable, right? And so tonight just felt like, let's just talk about Lorcana. Yeah, we'll look at the meta a little bit when we get to that point. But tonight, I want to talk about the game itself, because that's one thing that I'm here for is the game and what's good about it, what's bad about it. Let's just have an honest talk, And so, and we even got Rue already in chat throwing his 2 cents in there. Maybe this set will get the Fable treatment and get pricey. Hey, There we go. The first thing we can talk about is the collectability side of the game, right? So this is very important. We talked about this beforehand. If you want to know why you need an infinity format, it's because of the collectability of the game. Because there's nothing like shutting off a set of cards and they have no value whatsoever except to the collector.
Put a lot of time and money into, and now you just can't use any of those.
Right. The value of the cards is driven by 3 things, really. 1, it's playability, and playability meaning the power level of the card, and also its playability on the tournament scene. 2, the availability of the card, how scarce it is, right? And then 3, the collectability of it, right? That's like the desire for somebody to want this. Like you look at Winnie the Pooh, Honey Wizard, enchanted card, right? Now, that's one that's driven up totally by the collectability of it, the price of that, right? You can't, it's not going to be on the tournament scene anywhere. Hey, maybe somebody, man, if that becomes the core part of some rogue deck, can you imagine the price tag on that Joker?
That would be even more.
Or Mickey Mouse. Yeah, right.
Oh gosh, something that people want.
Check says, I've always wondered what it takes to make a TCG last like Pokemon and MTG. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, Chex. That's what we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So the collectability aspect of it is very important. And because who wants to spend money on cards that aren't worth anything? Well, the players do. We do it on board games all the time, right? But the amount of money that you put into something, you want to, especially like card games, you want to reap some type of return on it. Because when you're done with it, you want to pass it on, right? Maybe to somebody you don't know or somebody you do know and let it have value. Hey, Britt. My daughter's in chat.
Yo.
Yep. All right. So anyways, so collectability is a very huge part of it. So I asked this question, like, where are we with the health of the collectability of Lorcana? I mean, what are your thoughts on it, Jake?
I think that in the beginning, there was a lot of want for the cards. So there wasn't a lot of like first chapter, and even like coming into like the beginning of Rise, I feel like there wasn't a lot of just available product out there, so people were just buying it up and it was being resold for a little bit. But afterwards, when it got into Inkland, I think they just astronomically printed that as well too. So that got to the point where that the cards in that set were just so low and so available that it was a good thing. And I think that that was the turn of their like people like falling off of like the collectability and like getting in it for the money and kind of turning into more of like a solid game and more of like a tournament scene kind of popped off at that point. And then a lot of that then escalated towards like I guess more like Fabled, obviously, where the Infinity format just began. But those cards now even are seeing so much of an increase just with the Enchanteds, and now and all the sets after that as well too, with like Whispers and Winterspell. Like some of those cards are popping off to prices that are more than some of the like first chapter Enchanteds were at first. Like they were running around like 300 or 400, and we thought that was insane. But like the Eeyore is like 600 now, just for like no reason.
Yeah, it's ER, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's Eeyore. I mean,
hey,
I've heard that like it's like a possibility that that's like might be one of the only opportunities for Eeyore to maybe even get an Enchanted. So people
you
want
know
to
what? You got to have all the
eat that
poo.
up.
Got to have all the poo,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Got to have
if
all the
you got
poo.
yeah,
I got a
exactly.
handful of poo. Got to have it, right? So now you got to have all the characters from Winnie the Pooh, right? You get a franchise has
hmm
to have an enchanted version of each of his characters. Some are fortunate and they get more than one. Elsa,
True.
which
All the Frozen one.
kills my pocketbook. By the way, hey, we got a first time chatter joining us. Super Weave God. Hey, welcome,
Hey.
welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hey, if you haven't done so already, click that like button and subscribe. Come on and follow us. We're here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time, just to talk. Tonight is a fireside chat time, right?
hmm
So yeah, back to the collectability part of it, right? So what happened with Fable that was different, right? That you said everything since then, and I mean we can look to the iconics. Great move, by the way,
hmm
right? So
Higher
8 sets
rarity.
in. Yep,
People want that.
9 sets. So we got 8 sets, and then 9 sets in. Then go. All right, we're gonna change the game. And so at this point, Lorcana is 2 years old when Fable comes out, right?
hmm
So they've had 2 years of marketing data, 2 years of watching prices go up and down on TCG Player, 2 years of watching tournament results, listening to feedback from the players and the collectors alike. And then the Fable product comes out and they introduce rotation, which is what introduced the Infinity format. And that's another thing we're going to talk about. Um, and yeah, right, Rude, that Steamboat Pilot. I wanted that card and I should have bought it when it was like $75. Now,
hmm
what is that, Joker? You just looked at the price. What is it now? Is
Yeah.
it four,
What is it at
500?
now?
Maybe higher
Whew.
than that. And my daughter pulled the Winnie the Pooh enchanted. Now I sold it for $300 and thought I got a good deal on it at the time, and now what's that Joker? 800-900 bucks. So yeah.
Ooh.
So question in chat. You're talking about
Yeah.
collectability. What's your opinion on grading Lorcana? I sent an enchanted Tamatoa from Winterspell to get graded. Do you think Lorcana is a card game that's worth getting graded like Pokemon, or is it more about playability like Magic or others don't really grade them? That's a great question.
hmm
Enchanteds are definitely worth getting graded, I think. If you have one that you've looked at and it's going to pull you a 10, if you think it's going to pull a 10. Now, PSA, right now good luck getting your cards graded with them. They're like they're backed up. I think they mentioned a thing that as of June 1st they weren't taking any more for the year. So it's it's
That's
so
wild.
woo,
That
look at
early
that
on.
near mint 1K for the Steamboat Pilot. That's
That
ungraded. That's
is
raw,
that is a
raw.
crazy amount that it was going for, probably under $100 at a point, and now
I do
it's
I do
for
feel
that
good.
is
Like
insane.
when I was in Ghent, I traded all of my enchantments away, and you go,
hmm
why'd you do that for the iconic Mickey? And
Oof.
it
Good
was
choice though.
I gave up more value at the time, but man, I got it back. And that Joker it is tucked away.
It feels bad, but
So
yeah, you don't know what it's gonna do
yeah.
because of like it's not a playable card. You don't expect that. We were thinking like Dumbo and all those like Cinderella are gonna be the really most expensive cards just because people are gonna want them for
Mhm.
their blinged out decks and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think even at first we were thinking all the Mickey cards and all those like really popular characters, because those are the ones that in the end are going to be worth the most. And I
Hmm.
think that that's what it's just that everything's turning into right now. Like all those
Okay.
iconics, like I
Yeah.
think that that's like kind of like the more popular ones at least.
The iconics have made it wonderful, and because of that, the enchanteds in those sets, I believe, have gone out too. And what you have, I think the reason they're going up, right, when the iconics came in, now the collectors from other card games like Pokemon and Magic have a target, and they've come in now, and I believe they're what's driving the prices of those things up right now. I think it's a matter of time before some of the older enchanted start to gain some steam and start to go up in value, especially those of the well-known characters and from the well-known franchises. So I would encourage you to grab them now while they're pretty cheap and under the radar, you know. So I'm one away from having my chapter one enchanted set, and I still need the
Ooh,
Simba. Yeah,
a
but
Simba.
I
Oh,
I keep stalling on getting it. I think I'm gonna pick it up in Indy. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it in Indy. So
that's a good idea.
but anyways, let's see. Oh, okay. So in chat, all right, my daughter, you got to quit calling me daddy, okay? so, so I can't let everybody know that I'm like stacking my chat with my family, right? So yeah. So yeah. Oh, okay. He's a lore guide too. This is who has the Frozone. He's a lore guide. Ooh, fellow lore guide. All
Ooh.
Right. There we go. And use the right term. I'm proud of you, daughter. I'm proud of you. We're not a judge
Yes,
anymore.
the
We're
new
lore
word.
guys. so, so yeah, the collectability of this game, I think, is in a very healthy state right now. Now, I know folks wish that the older stuff would have some of the value that some of the newer stuff has, but I go back and I challenge you on this, right? Why do the non-enchanted cards have value? Because they're playable, right? You need a format to drive that value, not the collectability side of it, but you need a format for them to be played in. Okay, that's what drives the value of those cards. So likewise with Infinity, if you want those cards to hold value, you need a format where they can be played in, and you need to not have them banned. My poor set of foil Hirams is, worthless while he is banned. Nobody wants them, right?
Absolutely.
Can't play the card, and so that's why banning cards is it's a very precarious thing, right? Especially if it's a valuable card. So Infinity format, and we can segue into this now. That's a second part of what makes a game healthy is multiple ways to play the game. Now, if I were to give Lorcana a grade on that right now, I'd say we're kind of like in the C to B range on it, mainly because the game is new. I'm not faulting it. The great core format, wonderful. I think anybody's going to
Agreed.
complain about
Yes.
core.
Mm-hmm.
Infinity is even correct. That's the way you should do Infinity, right? Is you put every card that's ever been released and make it available to play. It's just that people are whining and crying. I'm sorry, fans. I didn't mean to say that. People, for some reason, aren't latching onto it. That's not Ravensburger's fault. I mean, the only thing I could think of that they could do is when you do your promos, if you think you're going to do two formats, have a set of promos for one format and a set of 4 promos for another format. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to tell
Almost
you
like
why people go to
reprinting some of the older
DLCs.
ones.
Most people go to DLCs to chase the prizes.
Mm-hmm.
I like my friends there. Don't get me wrong. I don't go to chase prizes because I can't get any, but I go to see my friends and to encourage the growth of the community. But those people that are there, none of them are there to see me. I can guarantee you that. All right. They're there to get the prizing. And so that's the thing I would challenge Ravensburger on. They've done a great job with prizing right now because people are chasing those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you want the format to catch, distinguish its prize pool from the core prize pool. And now people are going to want to go because, oh, snap, I'm only going to be able to get this promo at one DLC. Yeah, you don't hear people
That's
griping
true.
about it then. So they'll be griping that they don't get on the list for it.
Maybe they don't get to get it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
People will never be happy.
I love the new. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up in chat. Absolutely love core constructed, but I feel the rotation is a little too quick. My absolute favorite format is sealed. Oh yeah, you love sealed. Sealed puts levels the
I do
ground, right?
love sealed.
Uh,
Yes.
I love the new sealed stamp promos that come in the Wilds Unknown pre-release kit.
Yeah,
That's
that's
we
very
talked about
fun.
this last week.
Hmm.
They hit a home run with the pre-release kits,
Very
right?
good introduction to
So
that.
so yeah, so now we're talking about formats to play in, right? So you got this isn't just about DLCs. It's not just about CCQs, which those are put on by or tournament organizers, not necessarily with the same prize support as a DLC. They do give the top players a prize, but that's not everybody there, right? That's just the top
Yeah.
players. So you're there just to play and to practice there. So then we go down another level. We go to set champs. I think people can gripe and moan all they want about set champs, but let your store decide not to run set champs anymore and find out how much you missed those promos,
Mhm.
right?
You'd be mad you can't get
So
those anymore.
yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's all I can
True.
say about that. So, in fact, we just had this happen recently. And Rue's in the chat here. We had a store in the town next to us who had carried Lorcana for a long time and supported the set champs, and it just posted that for June they won't be doing it. So that's one less. That's why, despite any issues I've had with our local stores and the way they run set champs, I will not bash them publicly because I don't want to discourage them from continuing to carry set champs because that's more options for us as players to go to. Yeah.
Agreed.
So, yep. So sorry, I'm getting on tonight's soapbox night, folks.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, but I do agree though, because if you don't have if you have so many options to go to set champs and you have like 5 or 6 available options per weekend, you
Mhm.
would be like, oh well, I don't need to get it. Like I have so many opportunities to go get that. But if they start dwindling and you have maybe one opportunity and it's far away, or it's on 4th of July, which also I don't know. My wife really wants to do it too, but she was a little unhappy that our one is on 4th of July.
Oh man, that stinks. So
Yeah.
here, they just started doing ours. We got one this weekend, which I may go and play at. I don't know.
Hmm.
I got,
Yeah, they're starting
I,
early, but they're
yeah.
extending on pretty long as well too.
Yeah, I have a commitment this weekend that's kind of making things kind of iffy for me, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And then next weekend, I'll of course be in Indy, so I can't do any
True.
that weekend. So then that means when I get back, what's available. So, I usually just do one, maybe two. I go and grab a promo if I happen to get a mat, which I've been fortunate the last two that I've gotten a mat. The
That's
mats,
awesome.
I feel bad saying this. I like the mats; they're good prize, but personally to me, they mean nothing because I got my Steamboat Willie mat that's been signed by
Oh,
Steve Warner and Ryan Miller. I'm not going to play with any other mat ever. They
that's
just
awesome. I
so
wouldn't.
so they have no value to me whatsoever. I won't play with them. I would just flip them. So it's just better off. I usually just trade them away while I'm in the store. I did trade for the Mickey mini playing mat because that artwork has special significance for me.
Oh, that's a good one.
But
Was that the Disney
anyways,
one?
what's that?
The Disney World one? The foil
Yeah,
one?
yeah. I won. I
Yeah,
traded
yeah.
my Tinkerbell set champ mat for it. So it was a good
That's
trade.
great. We're
So
definitely worth it.
yeah. Let's see. Another person. Set champs is what made me want to play because I enjoy casual, but it's also nice that they offer a competitive side as well with it and give the top 8 promo. Yep. Yep. I agree with that. Great. The Tinkerbell was great for the last set. That's something too. They hurt us, I think, like, they did Mirabelle and Scar. I think people were like,
People
what?
were mad about that.
So this is what I got for a promo. And
Did all
don't get me
this and like win a
wrong, there were some
Mirabelle playmat?
fans, right? Yeah, there were some fans,
Exactly, yeah. You have to
but
carry it to everyone.
yeah, there was an outcry at that point in time over
Yeah.
those. So then Jafar came. I know why Jafar was chosen because that was his set. It had to be Jafar. It couldn't be
Jafar.
anybody else. Because if you wouldn't have done Jafar, people would have griped because they did do Jafar and Jafar set. Because they got nothing better to do. So I love
do like
selling
this
my
Woody
extra
one.
mats. What's that?
I do love this Woody one. I think that this promo
Yeah.
and the mat is
Ooh, I know, right?
on point. And I think that card might be pretty good in the upcoming rotation too. So
Oh,
see.
that card, you see it everywhere now.
Oh yeah,
Rue
it's
says,
really
I
good.
love selling my extra mats, my opportunity to recoup some money. Sorry, I'm that guy. No, Rue, we spend enough money on the game, dude. It's fair.
You got to put back into it somehow, right?
So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to lay this out there. All right. There's 3 of us at least here who understand this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're married and you want to keep playing Lorcana, you better get something out of it to put back into the pot.
Yep.
That's all I
Win
got to say.
something to
Yep.
recoup
I'm
the money
just,
somehow.
as Dave Chappelle says, I'm keeping it real. So,
So true. Very true.
yeah. So, the different formats that we have, 100%. Say it again for the people in back. Use the hobby to find the hobby. Yep. Or fun.
True.
Is that fun or find?
Fun.
Could be both. So
True.
fun. There we go.
Agreed. Though.
Yeah. To fund the hobby. Yeah. So
Especially like,
go ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say, especially now when you can pull an enchanted and probably if you
Yeah.
buy a case, somehow double your money.
If you can
Sometimes,
pull
I
an
guess, if you
enchanted.
get there. Well, and true, very true.
I
That
am
and
on
even
a
iconics too.
I am on a 2-set
Oh, you're on a
blackout
dry
on
spell.
enchanted. Yeah, I two straight cases, 0 enchanted for Kelsey Hall. It's
So
you know what? I don't let my daughter. I should let my daughter open all of them. That's it. So
yeah, you might be able to have the luck.
So,
You don't have the lucky
yeah.
hands right now.
Yep.
She'll pass it off to you then.
Even my daughter and I opened one when I was visiting her down south. We opened a box and it was fun opening them with them. But when I looked at what I got out the box, I was like, oh man, I just threw this money away. Oops.
It does feel bad. Yep.
It was fun. I justified it by it's the first time I opened Lorcana with her, and so that was kind of fun.
There you go.
Right,
Then you
yeah,
make a
so
memory out of it.
I paid for that. That's what I paid. That was the cost of
There
it.
you go. Pay for the mem.
So yep.
Too good.
So back to the formats, right? So we got the 2 big ones, right? Core and Infinity, right? But there are other ways to play the game. There's the heroic format, which isn't necessarily an official format supported by Ravensburger. Now, if you know anything about the game that shall not be named, which we won't name it on here, you can infer which one it is. They have a format much like heroic, where you get big 100-card decks and, single cards. And I know all about that format. I'm just purposefully not trying to talk about that game, but I'm using it as an example. That was a player-born format. That format came from players looking to do something different. The company that runs that game eventually caught on to the popularity of that and said, there's money to be made here if we standardize it and give it our own name. And they took most of the rules, almost rule for rule, with a couple changes and tweaks here and there, and started making what's known as Commander, which I said it. All right. So, and so you got Heroic, which is a format that was born by the players in Lorcana. And if you're not familiar with it, you should chase it down and check it out. It's a pretty fun way to play the game. We know Color's Law has Friends from the Other Side, has a podcast that's a stream on YouTube that's dedicated to that. She was a guest on our show, a while back, and you can go look that episode up where we talk about that format. And so yeah, it's a great format to watch people play the crazy things you do, and a great format to learn. So yeah. Let's see. More chat to catch up on here. Let's see. I have better luck with Target blister packs. Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that. You too. I've pulled all my enchanted at pre-release tournaments. I wish I could have said that. I didn't pull any.
Wow.
So, Clone made it. 2-set streak for enchanted at pre-release. I know. I had to sit by you and watch you open it. So.
Oh no, that's tough.
That's okay.
I got a Jesse out of my pre-release.
I only speak out of jealousy there. So what's that? Yeah.
They've just been stacked, I feel, those packs.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think in Whispers, I pulled 5 enchanteds. I think that's what's happened, right? I think that I used everything
you used
up
it all
in that
up
set.
There.
It all got used up. And so I the last 2 sets I have been, 0 for whatever. 0 for 12 on boxes. You can count how many packs there are from there. So, but yeah. And then the pre-release, let's go to that as a format. That's a format too, sealed, right? So you got sealed. We got 3 primary formats with sealed. You got draft, you got sealed deck, and you got pack rush. Pack rush is brilliant It is what it is. There's, just accept it for what it is as a necessary thing. It is. I am not going to complain about it at all. There
No.
are some folks that are, it's a waste of time. I don't think so. I think it gives casual players and new players the right way to be introduced into a formatted type way of playing the game, right?
Agreed.
So sealed pre-release, love it. There we go. Rue Guru. I love sealed at pre-release. I hate sealed later. Playing to play with a bad deck isn't for me. Yeah. Starter decks. I get why we need starter decks, but spruce those up a little bit. That's all I can say.
That's the one event that we did have. I don't know if it's standard with certain starter deck events, but being able to get a pack and then adding that into the starter deck, I feel like that's nice to be able to like curate something, having something like a little bit of a shell and being able to get into that. That's kind of cool, but I just think the starter decks in general are a little lackluster.
Sorry if y'all heard me crunching ice. I needed that. Yeah.
You're good.
So yeah, another way to play, which we haven't really talked about, are the Illumineers quest, right? The Ursula's quest,
a new one too,
the Jafar, and we got a new one. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it has the honey characters in it.
Wizard, Great Honey Quest or something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are great format. I love those. Those are just great little casual cooperative ways of playing. So I say if Ravensburger will adopt something like the heroic format and support that, I think they're good. I think that's the last piece of the puzzle to me, right? The last piece. So I would love to see that. I would love to see it. I'm sure they're working on it and they're exploring it, because they're business.
There's a lot of stuff they haven't divulged yet, I'm sure.
Right. So we got collectability and we got formats to play in, right? So let's talk about the game itself. Is it fun to play? Because if it's not fun to play, you're not going to have people playing it, right? So is it fun to play?
I think so.
Is it fun when you're losing?
Actually, kinda. I mean, it depends how you take it.
Yep. I think that's the key. If you have fun while you're losing, then they've made it, right? So
I agree. I think I could.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with your own mindset, but in general, right? If you had fun while you were losing, then I think it's a good game. So that's why certain decks are bad.
Yeah. I was just saying, like in tournament settings as well too. You can even see like people have their like complete poker face on the entire time, and even when they're about to lose, you can see them like not my game.
Yeah, the game itself, I think, is a well-designed game. And you look at it, another thing that is going to contribute to the longevity of the game is the kind of design space they create for themselves with the structure that they give the game, right? Simple to learn, hard to master. Yep. We said that like way back in one of our first podcasts. In fact, Clone, you might have been the guest on that podcast when we made that comment that it is easy to learn and hard to master, It's great. Yep. And perfect comment there. So yeah, I think that, number one, I have fun losing when I play the game. Right. And so there's that aspect of it too. But then I go back to that design space aspect of it as well. They've, if you think about it, what's unique about this game that sets it apart from other games, the fact that you're scoring up rather than going down, right? You're winning by addition rather than by subtraction, right? So like in other games, you lose life. Once you knock your opponent's life down, you win, or you knock out their characters and you win. That's how you win. It's by destruction, by destroying. But in this game, you win by addition. Now that is a very subtle but positive thing about this game that contributes to the experience, right? Because if it feels good to gain, right? It feels good to gain, and that's how you win. You gain lore. That's how you're winning in this game. So I think that's very cool. The Inkwell, good design space to work with. They still haven't even. I think there's so much more they could do with the Inkwell and the discard pile.
For sure. Oh yeah.
So, yep. I have fun losing unless it's to dogs. Amen to that, brother. Love duking it out and not staring at each other for 20 lore in a turn. Yeah, there are some decks
Hmm.
that, so
There are some fast ones for sure.
yeah, yep. So I won't say what I'm playing. So, because I got to come play this weekend. So too many people are listening, but
Fair.
so yeah. So, back to the design space. Do tell.
They want
Not
to know.
it's
They want to
not what you
know.
might think it is. That's the only clue I'll give you. So
Not the
uh,
obvious, the very obvious.
yeah. So I've already ruled out Green Steel Chromicon by saying that.
Yep.
But so so yeah. The design space in this game, I think, is pretty neat. There's some things that I'd like to see, come in, like maybe I can attach things to my characters,
Hmm.
and
Like an equipment or something
not
like
just
that.
put it under them, but put it on them or with them, and then that stuff leaves with them, or whatever. So
Hmm.
that would be kind of cool. I do like I don't interact with my opponent on their turn because I don't want them interacting with me. Just that
I
plain and
think
simple.
that, yeah,
It's not
even though
fun.
some things may happen, I feel like, yeah, the overall aspect of just not being able to do things is
Mhm.
probably for the best.
Yeah. The
Oh
dog
no,
for like
dogs for
ban him.
life.
Uh yeah, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
maybe.
we were gonna get there. Don't worry.
We'll get there. so yeah, the design space in this game, I recall I had this conversation with one of the developers and I made the comment that, like, it's one thing I do understand about game design with cards is that when you have a new card, there's a fine line you walk between the power level of that card and where it's high enough that you create excitement for that card, but not high enough that you impact the game too much with it and destroy the game, right? Certain cards you miss on and you have to be careful that they don't creep out and you have to do something with them, like Hiram, right? That's why Hiram's banned, is because its power impact just reached beyond what they anticipated with it anticipated with it. And there's talks about banning other stuff. I would say talks. When I say talks, it's the community crying for bans,
It's always the
you know.
community looking
And I
for
use
it and then
crying. I don't mean that in a negative way, but
whining.
go
Which
ahead,
one?
Jake. No, it's not whining. It's not.
It's
Okay,
not.
we
No,
opened
I think.
we opened it. Hold on, we opened this can of worms. Let's go there. All right, we're going
Okay.
there with dogs, by the way, guys. We're there
Okay.
now.
So yeah, with the community wanting it, that's where I think it stems from. You need that outcry to be able to do it. I don't think Ravensburger is going to go and just be like, we're going to ban this without anyone wanting this. Maybe, hopefully, they don't at least, but maybe they're looking from a design aspect. But I think in general, a majority of the community, whether they listen or not, they do listen. But whether they're going to do anything, I guess, is the matter of it. But
Hmm.
I would hope that they wouldn't ban something outright. So without people wanting it, I guess it won't happen. So if people really, really wanted it, and obviously
Hmm.
people are going to do some research, which we might talk about as well too. But I feel like
Yeah.
Tramp in general,
Yeah.
it's there. So that's just what we'll say.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna talk about the other game. So if you know who Mark Rosewater is, for the longest time he was head of design for Magic the Gathering, and Mark wrote several articles. He had I don't remember how often they came out. Usually they came out with every set. He talked about game design and how game design played into the new set or whatever. But he often talked about principles with game design. And in there, a lot of things he talked about, are the how when they're testing cards they sometimes miss, right? And that's not the design's problem, right? That's testing's
Hmm.
problem. Testing is the one that are supposed to design. The people who are designing are
To catch
looking
it.
to break the game and make the game great,
Yeah.
but the folks in testing for the company that puts out the game,
Whoa, whoa,
and it
whoa, whoa,
wasn't
whoa.
he
You
was shifting
can't shoot
blame.
two.
He's not
Yeah.
shifting blame, right? He's just like,
No.
you just got to realize these are aspects and sometimes things are missed,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. We
cards
should
come
step
out
back.
later, and
Hmm.
cards that were forgotten about all of a sudden break the game because of the introduction of something new, you know. So, I think they've done a great job with this game protecting us from that so far. However, since we opened this can of worms,
Yeah.
there was a recent post on Facebook, and it was a very well thought out post. Joseph Quigley, and we're not buddies, but I know who he is because if you go to DLC, you know who he is. He's one of the better players. Usually on day 2, he's made top 16 in a couple DLCs, maybe top 8 on one. And so, he's like, okay, I think it's time to consider a ban of Tramp. And in his post, if you haven't seen it, it was very well thought out, very well constructed argument. Whether you agree or disagree with it or not, don't disrespect the man's post. If you disagree with it, don't drop some one line like you're crazy. This is crazy tech. This is somebody griping and whining. That's most people's response. Well, you take the time and form your own rebuttal with the quality that he formed his argument and respond in that way, because I'd like to hear it. I'm just saying, I haven't seen anybody do that yet.
He definitely did not just pull all of that out of him and just regurgitate that. He definitely had some thought and some actual evidence to what he was saying. And I agree with that. I'm not 100% sure what Ravensburger is going to do with it, but I think that him saying, like, just the statistics of tournament results, amounts of what there is, and, like, I think certain decks, I think I saw a post where it was like certain decks need to roll, like high roll specifically to beat that certain deck.
And play
like,
perfectly.
If you have to do that in every single aspect, every single time to be able to do that, and I don't necessarily think Dogs needs to high roll in every single aspect to win their games.
No.
So I think that is a true tale of there might be an issue there, but I don't know if that, I guess it might be Tramp.
Player skill. I think his argument is valid because I've seen this too.
Yeah.
Player skill being even. When Dogs goes against any deck, a bad Dogs draw can be overcome easier than a bad draw on another deck.
Yep.
And consistently. And a bad draw on a Dogs deck can even overcome the perfect draw on most decks. So it's just, it's just that plain and simple. There were worse cards in the past rotation, like Shark, Tamatoa, So Shiny, Goat, and Mims, but no one ever complained about them. Yeah, they did. People complained about Popsicle.
Oh, yeah.
It was Popsicle that was complained about because that would have shut down the Tamatoa thing. But you're right, Chex. Whichever deck is winning is the one that gets the attention. However, Andrew made a good point. I've always thought that banning Elsa was appropriate because when you get a card, and this is where I was getting to with Mark Rosewater, when you look at bans, if a card is in every single deck of that color, and there's no deck building decision to be made, right? It's made for you. It's an auto inclusion of 4 of.
Throw that in there.
That's the first thing you look at, right? If this is basically him hampering deck design because of its auto inclusion, then that doesn't mean it gets banned. That's the first test that a card should pass, right? And so now we can go, okay, all of the 4 ofs, right? We can look at those. Then you look at, okay, now look at all the archetypes of the deck. How many times does this show up in every one of them? The only reason that Elsa is not is because there are certain types of Amethyst that is not played in.
Yes.
I'm not going to use the word burn, but the fast decks, right? That gain lore real fast, not used there, right? You rarely see it there. And so that's probably the only thing keeping it hanging on, to be honest with you. Go watch some of the finals from recent CCQs and you can see some of the crazy high rolls. Yep. As a GP lover, Shark was the worst. Yeah, Shark was.
Yep.
Shark it may be back. So.
Ooh.
Maybe back.
I've seen it. I've seen it in Infinity in general as well too.
Yeah. Shark's still here, baby.
On the Elsa part, I will say that I think certain things were printed at certain times, obviously. I hope at least. So it may have been needed at that point, but I don't think it needed to be reprinted. I don't think they needed to have 2 little iterations of her. That was just a little bit too much.
Olaf Shark actions. That's one option, Rue. It's one option, but I'm not leaning there. But that's a good guess. That's a great guess because Jake and I talked about it ahead of time. I said, I got what I'm taking, but I may take what you just
But that
mentioned.
was a good option too.
Yeah. So
But on the high rolly tramp side as well too, I have also seen multiple instances of kind of getting the perfect curve, I guess. It's not hard to get a perfect curve with dogs when there's kind of such low cost cards in general, but getting a
yeah,
curve and then having the grandmother willow into a tramp, playing that early, or and then like searching for a tramp and then being able to play the tramp for free as well next turn, tramp, tramp,
yeah.
tramp. Like I feel
Tramp,
like
tramp,
if you're
tramp,
able
tramp,
to
tramp, tramp.
cycle through and
Yep.
get through to those tramps, you can play tramps for free, like up to 2 or
Yeah.
3 per turn, and that's like
And
that
I
puts it and
think,
like and for Infinity at least, I would say like be prepared obviously, but like just being able to have the opportunities to Mowgli and Ursula too right before you're doing that, you just know you're good. It's tough.
yeah,
They
I
have so
think,
many like
in his
tools.
argument, Joseph made some valid points where like, it's not just that with the deck, right? It's that what he enables you to do is to find your answer for any given situation for the most part, right? Which
Agreed.
no other deck really has that. And it's almost not fair. If you want to give it to other decks, then fine, leave Tramp in, right? But you haven't given other decks a way to really do that for little to no cost is what he is, right? And
Yeah.
it wasn't really until recently, and these are valid points. So I'm echoing his argument. This is not from me. It's something I've known, but honestly, it's his argument in the thing is that, new cards like Willow and, Nani, which allow you to curve out a little bit better.
Definitely
Willow, which
fuel it.
allows you to accelerate, right? And then in Infinity, having Tramp to be, you got to watch out for the Rapunzel trap with that. If you don't know what that is, that's, run your big bodied character into something else that has power and get a lot of damage on it and then play Rapunzel to draw cards. Yeah, that's, you can never leave a fox turn sideways, I guess some decks in the old days, right?
Very true.
So that it's that it has consistent answers for nearly everything, and especially in Infinity now. And so, taking away the answer seeker would level the playing field. The deck can just, well, it probably
Exist as an
disappear, to be
aggro.
honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would probably disappear, to be honest with you. And then the next boogeyman will come up and we'll yell for a
Of
ban on that.
course.
So it'll probably be something purple and we'll be yelling for Madam Mim Fox to go away.
Oh,
That'll be the next
probably.
one. Yeah.
Don't doubt
So
it.
it's this vicious cycle just goes on and on and on and on, right? Although none of them should ever suffer the fate of Bucky.
No, that
So,
was
yep. May God rest his soul.
tragic. Tragic. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah. So yeah, poor Bucky. We should have a moratorium for him one day. A memorial for him.
We should. For a Viking funeral. Send the cards off.
I say all that to say I took dogs to my Infinity tournament and won it. Of course you did. Of course you did.
Of course, yeah.
You're a good player, Rue. You're a good
if you're
player.
trying
And you
to
take
win,
the best
I
deck.
would agree.
If you
Taking that
didn't, I
deck.
would not even report that you went and played it. So yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Churna dogs too. Like how would they add Churnabogs some of them as well too? Like that's cool.
Yeah. And the thing about dogs is like it's the top deck in core and in Infinity right now.
Yeah,
So,
that might also be another indication where it's like, whoa, this is powerful. Even if you're playing with all the cards, it's still the best.
right. So good thoughts in chat as we talk about that. That's the thing too. That leads into my final part about like the game itself is when you're playing it on a competitive level, you want the competitive level of a game somewhere, right? That's something else that's needed. Games need to be played competitively in order for the community to hold on to it and to have something to look forward to, something to gauge their own skill set in. I think that their competitive circuit is pretty good. I think that they took the right steps with the introduction of CCQs and set champs. I think tying them all in together would be pretty cool, although I would caution using set champs as people have offered in the past to be that bridge between the store and the CCQs, because the set champs are really meant to engage all players, both casual and competitive, which is why, I appreciate the stores, even though in the past I didn't always agree with it. this is my confession time. You know, stores that really were trying to support the casual players. And I understand why they would say, hey, you guys that travel from store to store and take the promos of all the stores, which, you know, thankfully in our area did not happen a whole lot. I mean, it happened for a little while there. It was kind of happening, but I think now it's not. We're kind of all diversified enough that, and, you know, and we do have folks that come from other towns and join us, but we're all friends, right? And it's more about we like coming to play with each other because we enjoy playing against each other. And in that sense, they are part of the community. But you had folks coming from outside the community at one point, coming in, snagging the cards and taking the cards outside the community. And I get why that's frustrating. And I get why stores kind of started locking down. I don't agree with it because they broke the spirit of what Ravensburger wanted, but I understand why the store was doing what it was doing. And so I just say Ravensburger should just let them run set champs however they want to run it, give them the cards to support their local play, and then create something else that is that go-between between the store and the CCQs somehow, you know? So that's my hot take. So I'm trying to catch up with chat. Go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say I could see that happening. They don't really have that, and yeah, I would say there was another person in chat who did say they're trying to play with their community, but it seems super competitive. Is there a way something they're doing wrong? I guess
Now,
it really depends on the community in general as well too. It depends on who you're playing
yeah,
with. If you're like, I just feel like maybe the East Coast in general is a very uh, popular area for competitive players, I'd say. But just in general, if
yeah.
your community is really competitive, it might be a hard way to introduce yourself into the game and try to like get into it because they're playing at like top tier decks or playing just dogs into you and you feel like you have like no opportunity to even like have a chance to win.
Yeah,
But
I think that this is where I think that, you know, so this is where league play is really important. And there's just nothing you can do if casual players don't come to play, if they're not interested in coming to play. You can create casual environments. That's why you find things like, hey, let's have theme deck night. You know, you make decks with any colors as long as the characters are all from one franchise or something like that, you know, or some other crazy format that you want to do. We did a draft. We did a draft. Where was it? It was not here locally. I did it. Where was I at when I did it? Oh, it was up in Massachusetts. I had talked to them about the let's do a draft where you pass the deck. And I had talked about doing this for years. And I mentioned it at this place that I went to when I was on a work trip up there. And they were like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. Now there were 5 of us doing it. And it was pretty cool, you know, and we did it with older packs that didn't have, you know, stuff in there. But your goal was to draft the worst deck possible and pass it to the person to your left at the end.
Oh, so they have to
it
play
was
with
just
that
fun.
and then
It was fun
okay,
with
I like
worthless
that.
cards, right? And I had talked about doing it for years. I'd even talked about doing it locally about doing it. But I actually, somebody actually said, hey, it sounds like fun. Let's do it. And they did it. And I was just visiting their store when they did it. So, you know, it was pretty cool. So
That's cool. Yeah, I would say like try to encourage your local game store to even have some sort of fun event or just a different event than normal and not just have a core constructed night. Maybe have a draft or have a sealed night. I think that might be
yeah.
a way to spruce it up. I even get new people to play as well too.
Yeah. So I want to respond to something in chat because it's a very legitimate concern. And this is Swatkins. By the way, Swatkins, thank you for bringing this stuff up. You know, if you have an ultra competitive community and it's the only one you can go to, am I allowed? Yes, my stream. I can say whatever I want. So there are online platforms that you can go and play on if you don't know about them. Lorcanito is one. Duels Inc. is another. And on there, you could just play for fun and you will get better by doing that because there are people, I promise you, there are people that are there that are probably better than the local players at your store. Minus 1 or 2 who may actually go to DLCs and play ultra competitive. But point being is, like, that's how I get better. Like I just go on there and try stuff out and have fun and watch it fail miserably in some cases. By the way, I did try my combo and it was so satisfying. The combo with Alien and the Queen of Hearts, that whenever a character comes in, you put a damage counter on it,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
and then
put
you can just
Sid
keep
in,
playing. Yeah,
and then put Sid in. And so Sid says, whenever one of your toys is banished on your turn, you gain 2 lore.
game too long.
And on turn 7, I went from 2 lore to 21 lore against a dog's deck, and watched my
Wow.
opponent scream no on the screen. So, and last night, somebody tried it against me.
Oh no,
And
and
I
you
was like,
knew.
I know what you're doing, because I played Ursula and saw his hand. And I go, I know
And
what
you're
you're
like,
doing there, buddy.
no.
Yeah. And I was sitting there praying. I knew he had an alien in the discard already, and he had Sid and he
You're
had
like,
Queen
oh,
in
he's
his
setting
hand.
it up.
And I was like, okay, can I win in 3 turns? Because if I don't, he draws that alien in
Yeah.
between now and 3 turns. It's over. so yeah.
No, you'll never know. Not Ruby Emerald.
Ruby Emerald. Oh, maybe. Stop telling yourself. But I got to say this, Ru, about that deck. I did post it in our chat. I won the first game in glorious fashion and then lost the next 12. The deck's record is 1-12. So, you know, it did not pan out like I hoped it would. The first game gave me false hope. And then the rest of them, I could never get that second alien when I wanted it. So it was frustrating. But that's the thing I love about that alien. You know, we talked about it on our stream before, is when we were reviewing cards for the set, I told you guys it's a combo engine waiting to happen. You know, I mean, there's one in Infinity. I just gave 2 on that stream. So it's fun. So back to our meta and to our tournament scene. A good competitive scene is what you need, in conjunction with, as our discussion is showing, a good casual scene. You have to have balance there. So, and some things that I would encourage you to do is go look at some different ways to play, and go to your store and say, hey, can we have a night where we do this? You know, can we just do pack rush? Can we just do casual play with theme decks? You know, talk to the local players and ask them if they'll support it. And if they don't, you know, I mean, I hope you have another store.
Yeah.
You know, and
There
go
are
there.
definitely
And
others
start
that
your
probably
own,
were
right.
more welcoming.
Start your own group. And if you need product, I have so much bulk, hit me up. I get the bulk to you one way or the other to start new players. So I will do that. As we do it in our community. It's been spent here. Our community's fine. I got bulk sitting around. It's just not doing anything. So, you know. You can also look for popular decks on those websites and play one deck while the computer plays another you choose. Yep, you can do that. Most of the decks you can copy the deck list from and just learn to play them. And that's what I would do, honestly. If you want to learn how to beat the competitive decks, go and play them yourself and figure them out and figure out how they work.
Even if you don't have the cards, they still let you play them on there, and you can play against the popular decks and learn what they're going to do, and then learn what you can do then to counter that.
Yeah. Where are you guys located? That's a secret. I could tell you, Jake and I are in different time zones.
We are, and we are not in the same area.
And hold on, Jake. We got to tell him, right? We've never met in real life. That's going to change in Indianapolis.
So soon. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Jake and I will be together for the first time ever. So yeah, I'll tell you, I'm in the state of Florida, and Jake is in the state of Pennsylvania or New Jersey.
I'm in Jersey.
Jersey. One or the other. I knew it was one or the other. Right. Lies, they're across the hall from each other. Do we look like we're across the hall?
Yeah, right.
So
wait, where do I have to go? This way? Wait.
Yeah. Which hall?
No, this way.
Yeah. So yeah. Hey, if anybody's at DLC Indy, come find us. Right. So.
Ooh, I would love to see someone. If there's anyone going there, that'd be great.
Yep. Sabrina will be there, and she'll be back on next week. In 2 weeks. We will not, I don't know that we're going to be streaming in 2 weeks. I'm not sure yet. I will get back to you guys on that. So
yeah, that's right before we leave.
Ooh, Memphis.
Or is that afterwards?
Man, somebody in Tennessee plays Lorcana. It is truly a worldwide game, folks.
It really is.
So yeah. All right. Man, Memphis. You should have no problem finding Lorcana there, actually. It's a big city.
Yeah, I feel like there might be a decent amount of people there.
Yep. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Thank you, as always.
If we didn't have Sabrina here holding us back, right?
I'm holding us back.
I wouldn't say holding us back. She keeps us honest.
Together.
So yeah, the yeah.
Extremely competitive in Memphis.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on, Jake. Time's gonna get away from us. I got to at least do the card with you
Okay.
today. All right,
Oh,
so
yeah. Okay.
folks, yeah, okay. If you watch our stream, you know there's a game we play, and usually, the victim is Sabrina, but Jake has been the victim lately, and he got it right last week. So what we do is inspired by a pack rush that I played locally, where I did not have my glasses and could not read the cards. I thought I knew what every Lorcana card did until forced to look at new cards without my glasses. And so that's inspired our game where we ask Jake, what does this card do? And I hide the text from him. So here we go. Are we ready for it? All right, Jake. Snowball Fight. It is a 2-cost inkable emerald action. It is from Winter Spell. Jake,
I think I know what this
what
does.
does this card do?
This is your opponent discards a card, and if you have an evasive character in play, you gain a lore.
Did you see it earlier and pull it up on the screen and cheat?
No, I trust me. This is set 11, right?
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. No.
Jake,
You can't
I
get
cannot.
me. You know,
What?
I open like a lot of this product.
Hey, all right. For those of you who know Steven, who's been on the show, I believe that we need to have Jake and Steven come on here and go tit for tat and see which one can get the most right.
He was on there with me that one day, was he?
He may have been. He was on my very first one in another episode.
I think so,
yeah.
Yes. If he was the one who was on it, he got the one that he got, and I had no idea which one that one was. So I was really surprised. So I was like, yeah, this guy knows all these cards.
That's Steven for you, man. And I name dropped him. For those who are local.
I'll take it up as
I have yet to stump Steven. Steven's been on here 3 times, and I've yet to stump him.
You've stumped me a few times for sure.
So yeah, I'll pull Ring the Bell up.
Some of the older ones. Ring the Bell. I still don't think I could tell you which one that is.
Yeah, as I could tell you this, if anybody aspires to be a lore guy, I would encourage you do not memorize the cards. Don't memorize the cards. No, because you do not want to assume you know the card. You need to walk up. You pick when somebody asks you a question about a card. I do this every time. Fair. I pull my glasses out of my pocket. I say, "Give me a second." I put my glasses on, and I say, "May I see the card?" I will read the card, and then I'll ask him, "Okay, what is it that you want to know, or what is it that's going on?" And I may have to read the card again. I may have to read another card. Always read the card, because I promise you, one day as a lore guide, you're going to think you know what a card says, and you're going to be wrong. So.
Well, usually reading the card just pretty much explains it. So rereading it is the first step.
Take your time. Read every word, right? Read every word.
See, I did miss something. I just said your opponent discards a card. It's each opponent chooses and discards a card.
Exactly. So yep. Yeah. So that's,
I knew the
little stuff like that. It's the May ability. Sometimes things that you thought were May are required, like, what was the other one back in the day where you had to choose a character and banish them? It wasn't May. You had to. So if you chose one, your opponent's only character had ward, you had to choose one of your own.
And then
yeah.
Very true.
So Beast Tragic Hero, not a May.
Yeah.
Or is it a May?
And those May.
I don't know. I should read the card. What's that?
Exactly. But I feel like the May, you can miss that, and you can't really take that back and be able to say, "Oh, I missed this. I have to go back and do that," because it's in May, so you just chose not to at that point.
Yep. Well, folks, we've hit the end of our time, and I have much more to say. Maybe we continue this next week.
Go on.
Yeah, we sidebar it next week. Thank you for everybody in chat.
Sure. Thank you.
It's not. I'm sorry. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that.
That's a good one.
I needed that tonight. I would thank everybody for your participation in the chat tonight. You don't know how much I appreciate it, because I like to have this conversation with the folks, as we go on, and you all being a part of it. I want to give a shout out real quick before we go. We always do this to Matified, man. If you guys don't know Craig and the gang, they're starting to take orders for custom foiling on playmat. So it used to be Craig just has certain ones he foiled, right? And you buy those, but now you can get in touch with him
Send 'em in.
and he can foil your playmats that, your custom playmats. The man is they're great guys at matified.com. Check them out. I would highly encourage you. The mats are amazing. I do have one I could show. I'm not going to get up to do it. I've showed it before, but yeah. So Jake, before we go, any parting shots?
Not currently. Just keep cooking on those Infinity decks, and we'll see what's going on in Indy.
Yeah. Maybe I'll tell you what to play. After we get off the air.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. When Richmond came, that was my best shot to play, and I ended up flipping and being a lore guide instead. But I was locked in, and I honestly believe, especially when I played some of my good friends that I know there, like Kawa and some others on the side, like I felt confident that I could have made day 2 with that deck, and they even assessed it and were like, yeah, you probably could have. So I was locked in. It's as locked in as I've ever been, ever, and it filtered into some set champs locally too, so, but that day is come and gone. I'm not locked in anymore. So I had my moment. I let it go by. Yeah. I should have wrote it out. I wanted to see my dad too much. So
true.
So anyways, all right, everybody. All right. Thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate it. We stalled it as long as we could. And we will see you all next week. Peace.
Thank you. See ya.